Hello and welcome everybody out there in Union Arena Land. We have yet another deck tech video, joined by TioGDX as we talk about Hunter x Hunter Yellow Trio. Tio, say hi.
What up, y'all?
So, this deck is all about getting Hisoka, Killua, and Gon on the board and letting them power each other up, creating a strong core that can carry through a match. Let's break down how it works. Tio, how would you describe the identity of Yellow Trio as a deck? Is it aggro, mid-range, just a value engine? How do we look at this?
I would say mid-range. The easiest description I can give it, honestly, is just the Alice Trio deck, but the defensive version. So just think of Alice Trio, but that one's aggro offense, but this one's more the defensive, big giant walls, hard to get rid of bodies. So, but they have generally the same vibes to both of them.
Okay, so can we go over the three cards that help support one another the most? The top end reason that we have the three big names in the deck.
Okay, so first up we have Hisoka. He's the protector. Cost 6 energy, which is his only detriment. The highest thing in the deck. But he has the Silver Fang effect. For Gons, Killuas, and Hisokas on your field during the opponent's turn, if they want to target characters with event cards or abilities on characters, you have to trash a card. And it does not stack like Silver Fang. So he's the protector of the skies, essentially. If he's on the front line, anything on the field of the actual main trio, you have to pitch extra cards to get rid of him. So he's part one of making everything hard to get rid of, or harder to get rid of, I should say. Step 2 would be Gon himself. So Gon's this card's kind of nuts, honestly. I'm being biased because I have the 2-star, but this card's actually kind of crazy. So the first part, during your opponent's turn, if Killua and Hisoka are on your front line with him, he's plus 2k. So he's normally at 4k. He's a 6k body on opponent's turn if you have one of each. If you have both people on the front line. So that's the first part, which is 6k body already is kind of wild.
That's hard to remove.
Yeah, for a lot of decks they can't remove it. And then if you have a Hisoka, you have to pay an extra card to target anything anyway, because that's what his effect does. Yeah. The second part for Gon, if a Killua is on your front line or the same line, this character gains plus 1k and impact when attacking. So as long as a Killua's on the front with him, he is always 5k impact when he attacks. Which is, again, kind of ridiculous when you think about it.
That's pretty
he's normally
good.
Yeah, pretty good. Normally a 4k body by himself, but again, becomes a 5k impact of any Killua's on the front line, and then a 6k of both are on the line with him. Very, very flavor text oriented based on what happens in the show. Perfect, actually.
Oh, yeah.
And then, just like the show, when Biscuit explained Killua's role in being the glue for the trio, he's a glue here as well. So we have his raid, which is actually, it has step, which is your first sign that you're moving around a lot for this card. But activate main. If on the front line, switch this card to resting. So some may see this and think, oh, switch to resting and lose the swinger. I don't want to do that. However, it is worth it. So switch him to resting. You give a Gon damage plus 1. So you can make any Gon damage 2 on your front line. The other part, which makes it more like Alice, which is the Alice comparison, if you've played this Killua on this turn, you could give the Gon snipe instead. So essentially, anytime you have a Gon on the front line, you play Killua, this Gon's 5k impact snipe that turn.
Build your own Karapika.
build your own Karapika, exactly.
Okay, that's pretty insane. I mean, all three of those cards combined creates a pretty devastating package, it seems like. Now, can we go over the curve of this deck? Because that's the part of this that I feel like a lot of people are questioning how to build. I mean, the numbers and package is usually pretty confirmed, but the curve of going from your 0 all the way up to your 6, can we go over that?
So it's actually pretty straightforward. Luckily, because they gave us this double energy 3-cost Killua, which essentially acts as a Toto. It reads, if there's a Gon in your front line, you can switch this Killua with any character in the front line. So as long as they're Gon in the front, he swaps like Toto back and forth. So I don't know how this deck functioned before this card existed. I honestly don't get it, but the fact that it's here now makes me very thankful. But because we have this card now, our curve is fixed because we can now run 4 of the Garenu Searcher. He's a classic 1-cost top 3 search for archetype. If you get 1, trash 1. 2k body, no trigger. So a lot of IPs have this card. But you couldn't afford to run this card before because this card didn't exist. So you needed more Killuas for your raid targets. So this is pretty standard stuff. Honestly, curve-wise, you have 11 zeros, 4 of each raid, and then 3 Biscuits because we like Biscuit and Active Trigger.
We like.
And then you have your 4 1s to 15 between zeros and ones, pretty standard stuff. And then you have 4 more 2s. Your color trigger, so you're a pretty good card by itself. This one reads the 3k body. If a killer was on your same line, it gains impact. So a 3k impactor can be neat early on to get some quick damage as well. So a lot of ways to sneak in some damage with this card as well. But you go your zeros to your searcher, and then your next turn you go a Gon to one of your mini double energies. You have Hisokas, which are 3k bodies, but are perma 4ks if you have a Gon and Killua on your field. So similar to the Step Atlas without having Step. If the 2 others are with you on the field, not just the front line, it's a 4k. So we have those as bodies. The new Killua, which is again the godsend with his deck double energy, 3k. I didn't mention earlier, but when he swaps, he actually gains plus 2,000. So he becomes a
4k.
Yes, he becomes a 4k swinger when he swaps from the back and forth as well.
Oh, okay. It's piecing together. It's coming together.
And we have 4 more doubles. Bisky, the classic. Actually, it's not the color trigger, but it does the color trigger things. Cost 3, double energy, draw a card on play. It also has activate main to switch to resting to sideline it to draw another card. So in emergencies, you can essentially turn into 2 card draws in the game. Player, draw next turn, rester, draw again. And then once you get your first double down, double energy, you're at 5. Next turn goes up, you move up a little jit, play another double of your mini, get to 6. Then you can play your Hisokas. Then you can play. You can even raid first with your Gon or your Killuas. So yeah, once you get 1 double down and you get to 5 energy and you just find one of your many others, we have I think 11 doubles, 4, 8, 11 doubles. Getting to 6 generally isn't too difficult compared to other decks that you just have to get double energies for. Like you still have to find a couple, but having the 4 searchers helps. And then having this card draw on this one play, if Bisky's one of your doubles, also helps. So getting to that number is about the same, if not a little easier than it is other decks that have to get to high energy numbers.
Okay, so the next thing I want to touch on is this special. It is a very unique special in the game. Can we go over exactly how it works?
So, Flavor Text winner of the year. This card is so accurate to the show. So it switched to resting from a 5k. It's always the 5k, so no 3k, 5k. So choose a character 5k and rest it. If you have 3 or more, raise your attack team Salon instead. It costs 5. Everyone's raised your attack team, so you physically can't play it without there being 3. So you'll never have to worry about having the requirements to be a 5k to Salon something, because you'll always have it. And then the last part, which is like the flavor text of the show, if Hisoka's on your front line, the opponent's when blocking and nullify impacts do not activate this turn. So if you have like when blocking, so Nanami, or like when blocking or like null impacts, no. We sideline something, no one gets null impact. You're all dealing with this turn.
But I have double block. No, you don't.
No. But then it's like, yeah, so that coupled with the Gon, who always has impact if Killua was around. This little mini Gon who always has impact if Killua was around. We have a lot of impactors in the deck. So to actually just say no, you can't nullify it, you have to deal with it. Really helps a lot to close games out. If you're getting close, is kill something and just okay, well, you have to deal with this. When blocking, I don't care. whatever that when blocking was, it doesn't matter in this game. So yeah,
you have to be real careful against this deck or taking early damage, because it can go, yeah, but my impact does happen no matter what you're doing.
Exactly.
That's very fun. Now, speaking of fun, we have two fun-ofs in the deck, a Hisoka and Back. Can we go over these two cards?
Good old fun-ofs. So this fun-of Back, I am very sure of. It will only stay at 1. It really can't be played at more than 1. Once you go over the text, you'll see why. This one is essentially getting a card back from trash. So it's a weird card. It reads odd. You can't use this card if you have it back in your trash. And if this card will be placed in your trash, by any way aside from playing it, it goes to the removal area instead. So when you play it, it goes to your trash. If you don't play it, you discard it some other way, it goes to removal.
Oh.
So it's a weird lock they have, essentially meaning you can only use this card once. And so that's why you only run 1. It's a get trigger. But essentially it's the brothers card from or it's like a Goodwill event as well. Essentially get any Razor attack affinity or Razor card from your trash and you can play it resting with fulfill energy and 1 AP cost from your sideline. You can set the rest on your field or raid with it. So essentially it's play something from your trash, rest it or raid with it if you have the energy. And you a one-time thing. So you only run 1 because you only really can use 1 in the game. So thank God it has a get trigger, so it's easier to get a hold of.
Oh yeah.
The other one of or fun of right now is the 2 AP Hisoka. 5 cost 2 AP once per turn. When a character on your field attacks and loses the battle, you may switch this character to active. So there are, aside from Gon, there are some times where you just won't have the whole trio on the front line. So Gon's a 4K, sure, but Killua's a 35. This Killua may not be a 4K. It's going to be like a 2K sometimes. He might be a 3K. Essentially, you may have characters that will get blocked, right? So he's going to be here to essentially ensure another swing happens. So you play him rested. You swing one of your Jets. You swing maybe your Gon or 3K to a 4K. They have to block it. You swing your Garenu, who got pushed up from research earlier. And then even the Killua 3500, no way to buff him to 4K. He swings, instead of buffing the Gon, you actually swing with him. And they block the attack, he'll then become active. And it's not just when played, that's just once per turn. So as long as he's on the field, he's going to have that effect. So a lot of times you will have a small body on the front line that can't get to do their defenses. So you won't have all Hisokas and all Gons at all times. You're going to have someone small is going to be there. So it'll be helpful to have an additional swing early on to get the extra damage, because you want to get him to a spot late game to where you can play things like the special and then play things like the Gon to snipe impact across the board to close games out. Right now it's a 1-of because it's 2 AP. It is also a draw trigger, which is nice. This deck has a lot of draw triggers in it. I believe it has 11 or 12 in that range. And again, he is a 13 and he is a 4K body. I do like 4Ks as a defense. And this Killua, while I do love him, he is 3500, which again can be dealt with by a lot of characters these days. So a lot of times he'll come in and give the Gon snipe impact. We'll give him snipe, he already has impact, but then he might be dealt with immediately. And once the Killua dies, if Killua's not here, this Gon goes back to being a 4K because he needs a Killua and a Hisoka on the front line to be a 6K. So again, a lot of times you just may not have the full defensive wall game plan. So it's important to have a card like this for situations like that.
Okay, well, I mean, that makes perfect sense to me. So what are some tips you would give a newer player picking up this deck for the first time, just really wanting to fan the deck out and see what it is that volleyball can do in Union Arena before we get Volleyball the anime?
The main things is that be careful on how you use Killuas, because like I said, they're 3500s, so they can be easily dealt with once they get to do their thing. They do have step, so they do get to live. You can always put it to the back and maybe leave it there to hang out until you need to damage to a Gon again. You don't always have to give it damage to every turn if you think it'd be too unsafe. Also, don't be afraid to do cool combos like play Killua in the front line, give the Gon the ability, and then use this Killua to swap with this Killua.
Oh.
So he'll swap up, he'll become a 4K, he'll go to the back, so he'll be a 4K swinger, he'll still get the impact because the Killua was on the field, So you have additional 4k. He'll become a 2k on the opponent's turn, and he might die, but you'll still save your raid for later on. So don't be afraid to use the Killua effect first to rest to give it a buff, and then swap it with this Killua if possible. If you can afford the energy drop. I mean, if you already have your Hisokas out, or if you already have so many doubles in your hand, you don't need to worry about getting to 6. Because if you're not playing the Hisoka, the highest thing, everything else is 4. Hisoka's the high thing in here. So if you already have your Hisokas out, or if you don't have any to play, you only have to count to 4. So if you can afford to get rid of risk a double by switching it out with your raids in the back, you can do so to protect it, to give it double damage later on.
Okay, yeah, I just realized that Killua is not active main from backline, it's active main once per turn. That is... Yeah, that's... So you can even bring him back, so they have to kill him, because that's your 6 energy. That's terrifying.
Exactly, you got to use your special on him. You don't blow him up, he'll go back to the back and I'll be 6 again. And you don't leave him there.
Better save a kill spell for this guy. So, looking at all of this, how do we think that this deck is going to match up into our meta?
It seems like it might be a little tough for heavy removal decks because it's going to be difficult to keep up the trio on the front line. If you can keep the trio up at least, maybe try to have I think the perfect scenario would be maybe a Hisoka, 2 Killuas, and a Gon. That way they have to either waste something to kill a 5k, because he's 4.5k to Hisoka, so they have to something to kill a 5k and then burn the extra card, and you still have Killua here. A way to survive some removal but still have the 6k Gon will probably be your best bet, but that can be difficult against a lot of high removal decks. So stuff that's really fast or high removal might be a little difficult depending on how many Hisokas you have out. If you don't have Hisokas out, you're gonna be in it for a hard time. But this taxi charges you having to discard a card for every target, not just removal, just choosing characters. So even let's say you play Riza and you activate main, you choose a -1k. All right, you give me a card, and then you do it in you play Mustang and say you pick a character to sideline. All right, give me another card. So it's having Hisokas out, it doesn't stack, but it's important to find these. So you want to get the 6 as fast as you can to play 1, maybe even 2. They don't stack, but if you're gonna have 2 to have a backup plan built in already, it'll help a lot. If you get an opponent where they can't really get rid of your Hisokas or your Killuas, then you're gonna be in for a really easy time, because these things are hard to get rid of. He's a 4.5k, he's a 6k, and he's gonna be impacting every turn. It could be a lot for opponents to deal with if they don't have the adequate removal to get rid of the important targets. Usually Killua was the easiest to get rid of because he's a 3.5k, but yeah, even then they have to pay the tax to have Hisoka out. So it'll be a little bit of luck to dodge those kind of heavy removal decks, but anything of that nature, any other mid-range deck like this, I feel it would do very well.
Oh yeah, especially if you only have 4 pieces of removal and you have to debate, is it the Gon that's going to kill me or the Hisoka that's stopping me from killing other things?
Yeah, already kill one, it's double energy.
yeah. All right, so I think that covers just about everything we wanted to talk about. Thank you so much for joining me today, Tio. Tio, where can people find you on the internet?
Everywhere, TioGDX, make it easy. Twitter, Twitch, YouTube, Discord, wherever you found some nerd stuff, I'll be there.
And you can also find him and myself down in the description below. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe here and to each of our channels. We'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.